everyone, and welcome to a new edition of the Food and Farm Show. I'm Cheryl Noble.
And I'm Gil Dominguez. Today we're coming to you from the Food Love Project. It's just right outside of Nevada City on Lake Vera Road, and what a lovely location.
It's very sweet, and this has a lot of history to it, the Burton Homestead, and this is part of the Land Trust property. And we'll be talking to Amanda Thibodeau, Katie Turner, and also be hearing from some of the customers who are out here this evening picking their fresh vegetables.
That's right. This is Tuesday. This is their You Pick Tuesday out here at the Food Love Project, an opportunity for you to come out and pick their wares that they've grown. And I've been out here a couple times so far this year, and the farm has really taken off.
Yes, and it adds to a different experience of farming to be able to not just go to the growers' markets, but to get down and into the soil and hand pick the very perfect vegetable that you want.
Or if you don't want to get into the soil, Amanda and Katie are happy to
Yes.
pull it out of the ground for you. But you're right, is just watching the carrots emerge from the ground is very exciting.
Because you don't know what they're going to look like, and it's always just another little bit of a surprise.
And you can't get any fresher than that. And then later in the show, the second half, we'll have part 2 of the Nevada County Ag Tour. And as you saw last week, Cheryl, there was 60 people on that bus.
Well
And
attended.
it was very well attended. We'll finish up with the NID part, and where we're talking about Rollins Reservoir, which is their biggest reservoir that they have. That's the highest dam in Nevada County. And we'll be going over to the recreation area and hearing from them and how many people take advantage of the fact that the NID has created this reservoir for agriculture and for water storage, but also it has a double use for recreation for people.
That's nice. You can watch the Food and Farm Show every Monday night at 6:30 p.m. on Channel 11 and 16 and ACTV, Channel 20 in Auburn, and also 24/7 on our YouTube channel, The Food and Farm Show. And we've got all the information about the program on our website, which is thefoodandfarmshow.com. So stick with us. We'll be right back. And when we come back, some interviews from the You Pick at the Food Love Project.
You're watching the Food and Farm Show right here on the Touchdown Productions Network.
Briar Patch Co-op Natural Foods Community Market offers organic produce from over 30 regional farms and buys local organic produce from farms like River Hill, Sweet Roots, First Rain, Pyramid, and Mooney Flat. You can trust the Patch to hold their producers to the highest standards and always be certified organic. So get to the Patch, the Briar Patch, for organic produce.
Spring is here. Time to visit the Garden Center at A to Z Supply. We have everything you need to plant it, grow it, preserve it, and eat it. With a master gardener and full-time beekeepers on staff, the Garden Center carries a wide selection of organic plants, along with people and pet-friendly products. And don't forget our weekly workshops at the Garden Center at A to Z Supply.
Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply is dedicated to the health of your pets and livestock. They offer the top brands of nutrition and carry the complete line of products from Bar Ale and Purina animal feeds along with Diamond and Canaday. They carry rice and wheat hay bales for your gardening needs, as well as alfalfa, grass hay, and grain for your livestock. It's Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply, supporting Nevada County agriculture since 1992. Nevada County Farm Supply has been part of the agricultural scene since 1993. Their staff consists of a certified crop advisor, licensed pest control advisor, and irrigation auditor. In Penn Valley, they have a full-service nursery with over 500 varieties of plants and garden enhancements. In Grass Valley, they have a warehouse full of soil amendments, fertilizers, and nutrients. Nevada County Farm Supply, powerful knowledge and innovative solutions. Welcome back to the Food and Farm Show. Gil Dominguez and Cheryl Noble today at the Food Love Project. Time to meet Project Coordinator Amanda Thibodeau
And Farm Manager Katie Turner.
Got some bumblebees working the flowers here at the Food Love Project, and with me is Program Director Farmer Amanda, or Amanda Thibodeau to the rest of the world, but everybody loves to call you Farm Amanda.
True story.
Now, we were here earlier in the year to buy some starts, as you recall, and the farm was just barely getting going. What a tremendous difference has taken place here.
Thank you. Yeah, it's gotten a lot bigger. In the month of May, we had over 600 kids come and they planted everything that you see here. So we've just been tending to their work.
Now, when they're planting, are they planting seed? Are you starting everything from seed, or do you have them doing some starts? What's the process there?
Usually we have them plant seeds and we have them transplant, and then sometimes we have them pot stuff up in the greenhouse. So they get to do everything. Sometimes they mix soil to make potting mixes, everything a farmer would do in the spring.
Now, a lot of farms keep records of what they're planting, how many things, and stuff like that. Is you got some record keeping going on here?
Yeah, actually, we just got certified organic, so we do need to keep great records. And Katie Turner, who's the farm manager here, has done a great job keeping a solid planting schedule and keeping records on everything we do, varieties, dates, all that good stuff.
So, how many plants did you put in the ground this year?
It's probably a question that's better for her than me. We have about, I think, 75 different varieties. Here, we really focus on diversity. But I couldn't tell you how many plants in total.
Hundreds, though.
Absolutely. Thousands, millions. Just lots of plants.
Just lots of plants. And of course, you can see that in some of the B-roll that we shot earlier. Let's talk irrigation for a second, because when you have a farm of this size, and this is just an acre, I say that in jest because there's a lot of food here. What type of irrigation system have you employed? What's worked best for you over the years?
Well, I mean, we are basically, a large glorified home garden, and we use a lot of T-tape or drip tape, drip irrigation. We also do some overhead on things like our greens to keep them nice and cool. But for the most part, the drip irrigation has proven to be, a good way to conserve water and also to get it where we need it to be.
Now, another thing I noticed when I was out here earlier in the year was you're not really taking a plow or an implement to the whole field and then just planting there. You guys are literally just digging out little plots right just in the ground, right among the weeds or whatever you have growing there, and then doing it that way.
Well, as organic farmers do, we use cover crop as one of our methods of creating fertility. We have quite a bit of weeds here at the site. We have bindweed and sheep sorrel, and so we've really made a conscious effort to move away from tilling. We do use the rototiller for some things, but this year we only tilled maybe about a quarter of the farm instead of the whole farm, which we had done before. So it's a new thing for us. It's certainly a lot more labor.
Well, it is, and I saw you and Katie out here doing that and working your digging forks over there, which I finally got one of those, and I'm very happy with it. But how big are you making your rows generally, and packing them in there? There didn't seem to be a precise measurement, yet they all look pretty uniform.
Well, when you dig a lot of rows, you get decent at measuring them about the right length. So, different rows are going to be different sizes for different crops. We do a lot more focus on our paths here because we want people to be able to walk in between the plants without stepping on things. For a home garden or somebody who is trying to be more production oriented, you might have smaller paths, you might have wider beds. There's a lot of different farming techniques that would be, implemented if we were striving to be more production oriented. So our beds are usually, roughly about 3 feet wide or so. It depends on who's digging them. Sometimes they end up really wide. Sometimes they end up really skinny. We're pretty flexible, though.
Mm-hmm. Now, what's the project this summer for the Food Love Project? The school's out, so the kids aren't here right now, but you have summer camps.
Yeah, actually next week and the week after that, we'll be doing dedicated Food Love Project farming summer camp. So that'll be from 9 to 1 every day. Every day has a different theme, so we'll be doing seeds and soil and animals. One's called Water in the Wild. We're doing a day on diversity, and then the last day will be on cooking and enjoying and harvesting all the food. So, each day is a little bit different, and we're really excited. This is our first time to do a dedicated week-long camp. In the past, we've only done day camps.
Now, the farm itself goes on year-round, even though the camps or the kids aren't here. You've got the U-Pick going here on Tuesdays, and you're also at the farmers markets.
Yes, we are. So we have the U-Pick every Tuesday from 4:30 to 6:30, and then like you just said, we have the farmers market every Saturday down in downtown Nevada City, where we're selling microgreens, which you profiled on us before, which are basically just kind of a sprout that grows in a growing medium, and we cut them right there. And it's a great source of nutrition. And for us with a limited space, it's really nice because it's a way for us to generate income to support our programming, while still being able to grow a diversity of things to work with the kids doing, so that we, don't get all of our income from just the vegetables that we can grow on the land.
And speaking of income, I know you're looking for some people to sponsor some of the campers. How do they get in touch with you? How can somebody make a contribution to summer camp for kids that are learning how to farm?
So we are offering 5 scholarships. So far, 2 people have said that they will pay for a scholarship. The scholarship is $200. If you're interested in providing a scholarship for a kid who otherwise might not be able to afford to go to camp, you can email me at foodloveproject@gmail.com. And also, if you go to our website, livinglandsnetwork.org, all along the Food Love Camp page, there's a link to pay via PayPal, and all you do is pay via PayPal, and you just write scholarship in the link. But we can certainly work something out. You can stop by the farm and, give me some money, whatever you want to do.
A lot of ways to help the Food Love Project. And now in its 3rd year.
Yes, the 3rd year. And now we have more people working with us than ever.
What a tremendous success story you've kind of created here, all starting from when you were just an intern yourself.
That's true. It does feel successful, but it's certainly not done. I will feel successful when the project can support itself. So we've still got work to do.
Well, plenty of work and, of course, dedication that you and your staff bring to this whole endeavor. But for you personally, Amanda, what's been the most rewarding aspect of farming for you?
Wow, that's a big question. I think the fact that I get to come out here every day, that this is my office and it's my job to teach people to eat good food. That's great. Who gets to do that? And I get to be my own boss doing that. I get to decide that we're going to make wishes in the teepee. And, that's pretty great. And, like those kids that were here earlier, they're eating all those vegetables. And when I was a kid, I didn't do anything like that. So the whole thing is very rewarding. And also, I think being able to train people like Katie and Chrissy who are still learning about farming, and the everyday learning about farming that I do is, I think, really rewarding as well. That's all.
Well, as you know, the Food Love Project is a U-Pick It. And Sunshine, this is her first experience out here at this farm. What did you find, Sunshine?
I found a lot of greens and wonderful vegetables that I really, really enjoy. So I came to pick some.
And we were talking earlier, you have a farm yourself.
Yes, sort of. I have my own goats that I milk, and I have chickens and ducks.
So do they get some of this produce?
I wish.
Oh, really? It's just for you.
Too pricey. Yeah, this is just for me.
How did you find out about the Food Love Project?
I received, first of all, I know these people. I've actually had my goats with them when they first started.
Oh.
And then they're sending out wonderful emails, reminders of all the activities that they're doing in the community. And I chose to come here. And I'm coming here because I like the Tuesday in between the Saturday farmers markets.
It fills that gap.
Yes, it fills the gap and things stay fresher that way. I
Right.
get fresh produce. Yes.
Now I see you have a little bouquet of flowers, and that's something, the bonus if you get a certain amount of produce.
Yes, if you get $10 or more, they gift you with a little bouquet, which is very sweet.
A couple of more you pickers here today at the farm is Erica Cosina and her daughter and her son as well. Hi, welcome to the Food and Farm Show.
Thank you.
Now, what brings you out here? How'd you hear about this event today?
Oh, we were hungry. We got an email from Farmer Amanda, and my kids love anything they can pick off of a bush or a plant and eat it. So, a great way to get dinner.
Well, we saw your son. We actually got some pictures of him pulling those carrots out of the ground. He was pulling them out of the ground with gusto.
Yes, falling over backwards. He just told me he's not hungry. He just likes the food here.
Well, right. He just wants to work and pull things and plant things.
Yeah.
And I think that's so important and it just shows what an impression it makes on the young children.
Yeah, they both know where their food comes from. That's for sure.
Is this your first time out here?
No, we've been out here several times. We helped put up the fence around the farm.
Okay, so you're kind of involved with the project itself.
Well, we volunteer from time to time.
That's great. So it's really grown then since the time you put up the fence.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, the teepee every year is amazing to see, and the tomato tunnel. But yeah, it's beautiful. It's amazing what happens when you put a few seeds in the ground.
Really, and there's obviously a lot of work to the farm, but that's really the secret. You put a few seeds in the farm and look at the lush produce that they've developed.
Yeah. It's surprising just to come out here week after week and see what's new and different.
And it's a family-friendly event as well.
Very much so. All the farmers take good care of the kids and let the kids participate and get dirty, and we definitely like that aspect.
One of the you pickers here today at the Food Love Project is Gail Lossman. Gail, welcome to the Food and Farm Show.
Well, thank you.
Now, I understand you are kind of related to this place, living right across the street.
Right across the street. We've watched them develop from the very beginning. We even snuck over a couple times after hours just to see the progress. It's been wonderful.
Well, tell us, how has the progress been since the very beginning?
It has been, we've watched a huge amount of hard work of them putting in just about every wonderful plant that you could think of to eat just like you have your own farm. So it's fabulous.
Well, for you especially, it's like your own farm. It's right across the street. Can't get better than that.
No, I can't. I don't even have to do the work. I just walk over and I pick from the garden, or they pick it for me, and it's just great.
But it's given you a chance to get to know Amanda and everybody here.
Yes, it has. And the food is wonderful.
Now, what did you have here today? What did you pick out of their garden?
Let me see. I've got chard and green onions and lots of radishes and carrots and turnips that you can put in your salad, salad turnips, beets, and I know there's lots of cucumbers and zucchini, and so I think I've lost count of everything. I picked a little bit of everything that was growing.
And that's nice because you don't have to pick a lot. It's here right for you to pick every week, every Tuesday when they have this.
Yes, it's wonderful and good timing. Every week I get fresh vegetables, so it's great.
Katie Turner is the farm manager here, and she took a few moments to talk with us and give us an insight on the farm here. Thanks, Katie.
Of course, my pleasure.
We were talking a little bit earlier that this is your second year here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was an intern last year with Amanda, and then I got hired on as the farm manager.
Nice. And what I also learned is that the Food Love Project is part of the Living Lands Agrarian program. How does that work?
So the Living Lands Agrarian Network helped start the project. Farmer Amanda was an intern with them her first year, and then this was her journeyman project. And so they helped her put in all the infrastructure and help support her through the seasons and continue to do that.
And this is the third year for Food Love.
The third year, yes.
Now, this is part of the land trust land, and they own it. How does that work for being able to have a farm here? Is that something that you lease?
So we do lease it technically for a small amount every year, but they are just so supportive of what we're doing, and they want education to take place on this land, and they love this sustainable agriculture aspect, so they've been amazing throughout.
Well, with regards to the educational component, you do have camps here for youth.
We do. In July, starting next week, we'll have our
next
first.
week. And there's still some openings?
There's 2 sessions starting next week. That will be the first session, and we still have openings. Yeah.
So what does that day look like for the kids?
For the kids, there is a structure. So every day has a theme. Like Monday will be the seed theme. And so we'll start microgreen flats. We'll probably plant some arugula. We'll talk about how seeds work, like what happens in a seed to produce a plant, and seed saving probably. And we'll do some arts and crafts and probably run through the sprinklers and
Of course.
have a snack. And, it'll be a great day.
How many hours is that?
It's from 9 to 1.
Okay, so there's still some openings, and who wouldn't want to be out here? There's a variety of activities, and to get them hands-on, learn about the vegetables and how they're grown, because there's different techniques for different. You were talking about the 3 mounds over there with the corn, and tell us a little bit about that.
Oh yeah, so we were talking earlier about the 3 sisters, which is corn, beans, and squash, and we plant those every year with the land trust camp. The kids come out 1 day a week during camp, and they'll talk with us about why the 3 sisters are used, and we'll educate them about the native planting techniques that go into making those mounds, and then we plant it all together. And then at the end of the season, we get to harvest dry corn and summer or winter squash and dry beans from those mounds.
Nice. In addition to the U-Pick that you have every week on Tuesday, do you do CSAs at this point?
We don't. We were talking about doing like a big CSA that would help support the program. But like big, I mean, people would donate a good amount of money and we would give them a really fun box every week, like maybe only 5 people, but they would get, artwork from the kids and tea and honey and, all sorts of vegetables. But it didn't happen this year, so maybe in the future.
In the future. Well, a big focal point here is this enormous teepee.
Yes.
And tell us what's growing up there, and it's like it's almost like a Jack and the Beanstalk.
It is. So we currently, what's growing all the way to the tops is hops plants, and then we also have gourds and beans that grow up it, and that's sort of our living teepee cover, and we like to hang out in there with the kiddos.
Oh, really? Yeah. It has a lot of shade to it, and it's roomy.
It is. Yeah, we put it up at the beginning of last season. We harvested the poles from a local farm and brought them down here and put them up.
For you, Katie, what has been some of the rewards and along this journey of farming for you?
Well, it's been an amazing transition for me. I used to live in the Bay Area and had a sort of semi-office job, which was great, but it wasn't what I wanted to do forever. And now being out here, being outside every day and just getting my hands in the dirt and learning all these practical skills has just been extremely valuable, and, wouldn't change 1 minute of it.
A lovely little field of squash right behind me here at Food Love Project. How fun it is to come out here and get to know Amanda and Katie a little bit better and their operation. Remember, their U-Pick is on Tuesdays in the mornings, and in the afternoons they're right out at Lake Vera Road, 16200, just about a mile outside of Nevada City. You're sure to find everything you need right here. I'm hanging out here with Salt and Pepper over at Food Love. Time for our final break of the day. When we come back, it's on the bus again and the Nevada County Ag Tour. You're watching the Food and Farm Show right here on the Touchdown Productions Network, right?
Anything Green Hydroponics is your source for hydro systems, grow lights, and soils. Anything Green offers a complete range of organic nutrients as well as fungicides, miticides, and predatory bugs. Anything Green Hydroponics has just received this year's soil. Get your totes, pallets, or individual bags. Stay tuned for future workshops. It's all at Anything Green Hydroponics.
Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply is dedicated to the health of your pets and livestock. They offer the top brands in nutrition and carry the complete line of products from Bar Ale and Purina Animal Feeds along with Diamond and Canaday. They carry rice and wheat hay bales for your gardening needs, as well as alfalfa, grass hay, and grain for your livestock. It's Grass Valley Hay and Feed Supply, supporting Nevada County agriculture since 1992.
Spring is here. Time to visit the Garden Center at A to Z Supply. We have everything you need to plant it, grow it, preserve it, and eat it. With a master gardener and full-time beekeepers on staff, the Garden Center carries a wide selection of organic plants, along with people and pet-friendly products. And don't forget our weekly workshops at the Garden Center at A to Z Supply.
It's time to visit the newly remodeled B&C True Value Home and Garden Center. The new B&C has completely changed for your shopping convenience. Their new expanded garden center has everything you need, including expert advice on trees, shrubs, and perennials. Check out their new website and the new spring hours. And thank you for voting B&C the best hardware and building supply in 2012. So start right, start here at B&C True Value Home and Garden Center.
Welcome back to the Food and Farm Show. It's time now to get on the bus with the 2013 Nevada County Ag Tour.
The groundbreaking ceremony was in 1963. I think it was around August, and the dedication ceremony was in 1965. So I'm going to give you with facts here. All right, the dam has what they call a grout core, so it's kind of like a clay, and then you see the rock and the other material that they put on top of it. And what the piezometer does is there's leakage water that comes from the lake into the dam, and it measures the amount of water that's actually leaking into the center of the dam. We measure that about every 2 weeks, or I get to come out and measure that every 2 weeks. And it averages about 214 feet from the top of the plate there down to where the water is leaking into. And it might up and down a little bit depending on the elevation. And again, what they're checking for is to find out what the integrity of the dam is, how much water is actually seeping through the dam into the downstream area. This dam seems to be pretty worthy. We don't get a whole lot of water that's leaking through. So.
How's this stand up with seismic standards these days?
As an engineer,
you know, specifically to that question, I'm not an engineer, so I can't answer it. But what I can answer is that we are regulated by two different agencies, the Department of Dam Safety and FERC, the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission. And they come out and they inspect these dams every year. As a matter of fact, we just had an inspection on our lower country dams last week, and that's what they look for. They look for the seepage like Jerry was talking about. They inspect the edges of the dams, which are called groins, and they do a very thorough check and a report for us every year.
I'm assuming that standards have changed since it's been built, so I'm just kind of curious as to how it stacks up with modern engineering criteria.
And that's an excellent question. And you know, in the research of this dam, we went back to some of the old reports, and believe it or not, they were researching this dam back in the early 1900s. And some of the geotechnical work they did was to study the type of rock that the banks are made of, and if that was a good rock substance to tie into. And because of this location and the rock formations they had, this became the site. So even back then, they were very diligent about studying what they were tying into.
Hey, Chip, with August 15th fast approaching, what's the status of the licensing process?
Well, the district is on its way to hopefully buttoning up the relicensing progress. There are still talks and negotiations underway. The environmental study is out for public review, and we're working our way through that. So we're making progress.
So they're just going to extend the lease, extend the contract with PG&E temporarily?
That's correct. Yes. Until the license gets finalized, we run under the same license we had in the past.
So, Chip, do we assess for usage or for water management, Yuba and Placer counties?
When you mean assess?
Yeah, we're managing water. Do we charge them for it?
Yes. Basically, any customer of ours gets charged for the amount of water they use.
So they're technically our customer then?
That's correct. Yes, we serve. We also serve the city of Grass Valley, the city of Nevada City, PCWA. We have lots of interties with other agencies, and yes, they all pay for their fair portion of the water. You're welcome.
In terms of a pie graph, there was Placer County that we get a chunk. Do you kind of know the breakdown of a pie graph of who gets all this water from this point on, in a general sense?
Yes. Well, for instance, today, 355 CFS is going down the Bear River Canal. Of that, only 120 or so is the NIDs. So, and then the other half of that that's going in the Bear River, which is 155 CFS there as well, is all NID. And we have folks in the office, that's all they do is water management, and they track flows on a daily basis and do the water measurements. And I got to give kudos to them because, as you guys know, it's a very dry year. But back in November and December, when the heavy rains hit, we captured all of that. And so, although it's a dry year, we have a decent amount of storage, and we're utilizing it. So.
Is there any plans in the future for increasing storage capacity?
That's an excellent question. You know, with the concerns of global warming and whatnot, water storage has become a forefront topic, and the district is looking at other ways to create a little more storage for us. One of them actually is here at this site. We can very easily put an extension on our overflow over here and raise the lake up just a little bit, and it'll gain us anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 acre feet rather rapidly. Down the road, there's been talks of additional dam sites. Parker Dam was looked at way back in the early 1900s, and that is a dam site that is before our Combi Reservoir, in between this and the Combi Reservoir. And that was planned on way back when, and for some reason it never took traction. But the plans are still there, and it is still an option. And so that's something the district could look at way down the road. But as of right now, it's just being scratched off the table, dusted off, and talked about.
Where does this water come from, and does it converge with the water that comes over the spillway?
Yes, so the water you see coming out right there is coming through a pipe that comes out the bottom of the reservoir, and we're generating power with it and sending it back into the ravine there. Just around this island here is the natural spill. So in the winter when we have heavy rains and whatnot, and it's more water coming in than going out, it will spill over there, and those two ravines come together right down here at the base of this little island. Welcome.
What's the deepest part of the lake?
I would have to guess and say at the dam site, but I mean, this is the biggest dam we have at 242 feet, so it's pretty deep right there. The other thing I didn't touch on is that where does this water come from? The story of that actually starts way up in the upper country. We have 10 reservoirs up around Bowman, Jackson Meadows. That's where most of our water originates from. It's all upper country watershed type stuff that we plumb across, we commingle with PG&E into Spalding, and it makes its way down into here.
You probably have an answer. When you're going up on 49 and you go across the South Yuba River, and then the next stream that's up there is this dry riverbed. What's the story? You know where I'm talking about? Pretty much almost dry. There's a little bit of water in there, but it's real wide, gravel washy with very little water in it sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
So what is that, and what's the story there?
You know, I don't know. That's not a district facility up through there. It definitely had some hydraulic mining in that area, though. You can tell when you drive over it.
Well, it looks like a stream bed just with no water, because, and I guess, I think at downstream from Jackson near Milton, don't you have a pipe that goes through the hillside to go from Jackson Flow to some other area?
That's correct. That's correct.
What's that? Maybe you could tell a little bit about that. I've been up there and seen the pipe side, or the tunnel, or what have you.
Yeah. Out of Jackson Meadows is the Middle Yuba. And so what we're doing is diverting water out of the Middle Yuba through Milton Lake, and it goes through and it ends up in Bowman Lake. So I'm not sure exactly where the dry stream bed is, but that goes all the way down, and it continues on through the Middle Yuba River and out. So
then lower down the Middle Yuba, I think it is, if you take the road that goes up to the Pleistocene Ridge and Allegheny and so forth, there's a paved road that goes all the way down, and there's a dam that's pretty much filled with gravel there, but there's still a dam there. What's the story with that? Do you know where I'm talking about?
I think that's the little town of Washington is up in there.
No.
So you're not that
Off
far
of 49.
So I'm not sure where that's at.
I think it was Yuba County Water Agency is one of their diversions.
Could be.
Yeah.
It's the dam is maybe 30 feet high, but it's got about 80% filled with gravel up in there, and I was kind of, whether it's defunct, they don't use that anymore, or
it's still utilized. Yeah. And that brings up a good point, is the gravels that wash down from the old mining legacies, and the district is partaking on a mercury removal effort, and trying to scoop up those gravels and gain the capacity in the reservoirs back, all while treating out the mercury that's been left over from the mining legacy.
Is that upstream from Combi?
That's correct. Yeah, that's where we're starting, and just kicking it off here and seeing how it goes from there.
Now, is that NID, or who's running that?
It is NID. There is some grant funding helping us out with that, but yes, it is an NID effort.
Maybe have a little tour of that at some point here and see what that's about.
Yeah.
It's an innovative program. You're starting it out, and if it's successful, you'll be doing a lot more of it.
You got it. Yep.
Thank you.
Chip, we got about 2 more minutes before we need to load up.
When I went into you guys' office, there's a really nice big map of where all the ditches go and everything, and I thought, well, they must have that on their website, but you don't. So when is that going to happen?
That's an excellent point and a good suggestion. We can work on that. We're a very big district, and it gets very confusing trying to follow all these canals, and a simplified schematic is very helpful. I look at it daily. And you'll notice in the handouts that were provided to you, there is a little document in here, and it does show a lot of the district facilities in there along with the reservoirs. Doesn't get down to the specific canals, but kind of a good overview of the district that you guys can take.
It runs right by my place. Where does this come from, and where does it go?
I think I've heard it said that there's something like between the NID and the other foothills, there's 3,000 miles of canals, right?
Wouldn't be surprising. Yeah, we're well over 400s just ourselves, so it's quite expansive.
And if you think about this, because I've had conversations with people in the past about this, to get the water from the high country to the low country with these canals, the engineering involved to find the best routes in really undeveloped mountainsides is a phenomenal engineering task.
Yeah, and as well as the use of the water to generate hydro and irrigate along the way, and the reusable energy that each drop of water in the upper country creates as it passes through these systems and hits all the different hydro facilities on its way down is just a great way to make energy as well.
Well, in the early days when they brought the stuff down for the mining there, that somebody had to climb those hills and try to figure out how to do that, wrapping around rather than you can't go down and up very easily.
Yes, very busy folks back in the early 1900s for most of this that was planned out, so kudos to those people.
Chip, if you don't mind describing the next stage of the tour.
So the next stage, we're going to hop back on the bus and go back around and go into our Orchard Springs campground, and over there I think Peggy Davidson will be there to inform you guys on the district's recreational efforts and our campsites and that kind of thing. There's also a restroom over there if anybody needs to utilize it. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Chip, let's go ahead and load onto the bus. Okay, hello again. We'd like to introduce Peggy Davidson with NID, and she's in charge of the recreation, and she's works here at Rollins and also at Scotts Flat, and she'll probably tell you a little bit more about where else she works and what she does. But Peggy will tell us a little bit more about the recreation aspect of NID.
No, I'm kind of nervous here. Good morning, everyone. I probably have the best job in the district, being the recreation person. The district has a lot of variety to offer on the recreation, anywhere from down to Combi, up to the upper division, Jackson Meadows, Boucherie, Bowman. On Rollins, there's 4 campgrounds. The district operates 3 of them, and we have a concessionaire on 1. The 3 the district runs are this one, Orchard Springs, and then we have Long Ravine, that is in the Colfax side, and then we have Peninsula, which is off of Uret Road. And then you go up a little higher, about 3,100 feet elevation is Scotts Flat Lake. I don't know if everybody's been there before, but it's beautiful. that has 2 campgrounds, which we have almost 200 sites up there, and the district operates that one. If you go farther up, as I said, the upper division, Jackson, Meadows, Foshery, Bowman, those are a combination of Forest Service and district owned, and the Forest Service operates those campgrounds also. The district and the recreation department right now, we started taking care of the recreation areas ourselves, the running of the day-to-day basis, in 2004. And we're up to 6 NID employees. We hire 45 to 50 seasonal employees from April through the end of September. So we have a pretty large staff in all the areas. We see about, on the average, annually, about 150,000 people come through our recreation areas, either day use or camping. We offer different varieties at our campgrounds, anywhere from large pads, hookups, boat rentals. At Long Ravine, if you go to Long Ravine, we have Beach Hut Deli on site. We work a lot with some of the community stores in our area. Up at Scotts Flat, we work with Mountain Recreation. They're in Grass Valley, and they supply all our kayaks. They do kayak rentals and give lessons. So we try to do a little bit at each of the campgrounds, a little bit of variety. Let's see, what else? One of the biggest challenges that are coming up, I think, in the recreation area that we have concerns, and I have a few handouts, and if I don't have enough, you could give me your email address and I could send you some more information, is the quagga zebra mussel. That is our biggest concern coming into our waters. It would be the most costly for the district. And in the brochures I have, it really shows there. I mean, they're just tiny little things, but they can destroy. We're talking probably millions or billions of dollars if they get into any of the district's pipes. So what we're doing this year is we're doing a lot of education at all of our sites, and we're starting to do boat inspections all the way down at Combi. We do really not have a public. It's mostly land-owned residents that live there, but they're doing self-inspections. They're working with the district on that. At all the campgrounds on Rollins and Scotts Flat, we do questionnaires at the entry when you bring in your boat or your kayak. If you do not answer the questions just right, we will inspect your boat. Up above at the upper division, we're just at the education stage. So hopefully in the next couple of years we'll be doing inspections for those also. Do you have any questions for me?
Is the mussel already here? Is that
No.
No.
Right now, where any of the zebra or quagga mussels, the farthest, maybe San Diego, there's quite a few lakes that have those, and in Las Vegas. So they're not close to us, but you just never know. It only takes one little boat to bring, one of those in, and they do spread like crazy, and they're just so tiny.
Is there some around the Carson City waterways in that area?
Not that I'm in this little handout that I have for you. It has maps where they're located, but I have not heard that yet. Any other questions? Yes. I'm sorry.
One more question, and we'll have to turn it over to John for his.
Okay.
What do the mussels actually do?
They attach themselves to anything. I mean, they will attach themselves to boots that are in the water, kayaks, boats, pipes. I really have some really good pictures in here, and they travel everywhere, and they don't die. It's really hard to kill them. You would have to really hot pressure wash a boat or keep the boats out of the water or kayaks for at least 30 days before you will allow them into our water if they have been infested.
But the harm thing is that a couple of things. One is that replaces native species and can plug up water intake lines, right?
That's right. And that's where it would be so costly for the district if they did get into our waters and go into our lines. So John, would you like to?
Hey Peggy, I know there's some kayaker people here. Mention Lower Scotts Flat too.
Lower Scotts Flat, oh, that's a beautiful little place. And it's about a mile, maybe a mile before you get to the entrance gate at Gate 1 at Scotts Flat. And it's a kayaking, it's a dirt boat ramp. There is no cost to go in there, but it is beautiful. You can do fishing, but kayaking, I do see some swimmers. I'm not sure I would really swim in it, but the kayaking, it's really nice. It's a little bit of a rough road to get in, but just go nice and slow, and there's parking down there.
Is that a natural lake or does that have a dam? Has a dam.
Has a dam. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Lower Scotts Flat has never been drained. There's some brown trout in there as big as your leg, so if you're out kayaking, be careful. The district is in the planning phase of developing an interpretive center for this entire area right here. It's going to be dedicated to Ernie Bierwagen, who was a longtime serving NID director. And if you get a chance, please read the plaque on this particular rock, and it kind of gives a brief history and an overview of Ernie's contributions. There'll be a simple building here, but there'll be lots of information available to anybody that wants to come to the interpretive area, as well as anybody that is coming here just to recreate. They'll have a greater appreciation of what this area means and some of the folks that have participated in helping make all of this possible. And I'd like to take any questions that anybody might have just as a closeout item. Roger.
John, I was wondering, because there may be some people here who never had the privilege of meeting Ernie. Could you give us a little idea what Ernie was like?
Well, you read the plaque and you'll get a better idea. You can't pay too much attention to what I have to say about Ernie, but he was a very, very dedicated man, and he was dedicated to all things. He was dedicated to the land. He was dedicated to his family. He was dedicated to the community. He was dedicated to NID. He was dedicated to his church. He worked hard all of his life. He was born in a room in a farmhouse just over the hill from here. He died in the same room 85 years later. I don't know, I hope it doesn't sound too off color, but I was there when Ernie was making the transition, and just a special guy, really special guy. We all miss him, always will. Thank you. Please read the plaque. I hope you enjoy your visit. You're going to a farm next. It's just on the other side of my farm. The folks over there are really hard workers. They're young, enthusiastic farmers. They're doing a great job. They've got their feet spread wide. They've taken on a lot of stuff. I wish them the best of luck. I've seen a lot of farmers come and go over the years, so they'll do fine. Hope you enjoy your visit. Every chance you get, come out here and recreate. Like Peggy said, recreation is actually one of the rising stars at the NID now. It's starting to pay for itself through Peggy's efforts in all of our recreation areas. It used to always run in the red, and I think year before last was the first year we were ever in the black, and it was mostly because of Peggy's effort. So thank you.
Thank you very much, John and Chip and Peggy and Jerry. Thank you very much to NID for their presentation. We are now going to load up the bus again, and we're going to go to Bierwagen's farm, Donner Trail Fruit. And so please expedite the loading process so we can get over there, and then we'll continue our tour. Thank you very much.
I think we've got pretty much everybody off of the bus. And we are now here at Donner Trail Fruit, and we were over there at the Orchard Springs campground, and we saw the plaque for Ernie over there, type of thing. And I want to introduce Chris Bierwagen, and Chris has been part of Donner Trail Fruit for his entire life, and he's going to talk to us now a little bit about the history, and then we'll be able to learn a little bit more of the farm. So Chris, I'll turn it over to you.
Thank you very much, Roger. Welcome, everybody. So the history of the farm, my great-grandparents came here in 1901. I'm the fourth generation farmer, and they farmed pears and apples and then grapes. Then my dad converted most of the farm to apples, okay? And then we both made the huge mistake of planting freestone peaches because they're so good. So you see trees right here that look abandoned. They are. Trees up there we're taking care of. And so we're down to, because of weather problems the past 4 years with climate change, we haven't been very successful with peaches, but we love them so dearly we keep them. And so we're on to other things, including that we're going to hike up to the boysenberry patch where we have a phenomenal crop of boysenberries and some pickers up there picking. And and lots of volunteers to pick berries. Okay, so as I said, the original land was cleared in the late 1800s. This was all forest land that was cleared and planted to pears. 100%, 1,000 acres of pears in Chicago Park. I don't know why they only planted pears, but that's what they did. That run lasted for 60 years, and it was quite profitable for pear growers at that time. My dad and grandpa planted apples just as an experiment, and when the pear trees all died from pear decline and blight in the late 50s, early 60s, we had apples to fall back on. And then we were in the apple business, including shipping wholesale apples to Los Angeles until the mid-80s, when competition from Washington State and truckloads became impossible to compete with. We switched to more niche varieties or heritage varieties and got into the niche market, and for quite a while we shipped apples to San Francisco primarily in the and primarily one variety called Arkansas Black, which you might have heard of. It's a heritage variety that's a wonderful winter apple that is beautiful, but lost favor when Red Delicious was so beautiful and everybody wanted a Red Delicious. Well, we all know the rest of the history with apples and what's happened, evolution with apples. So it's a little too hot here to grow apples beautiful red color. So we don't try to grow red apples. They taste marvelous grown in the foothills, like all fruit does, because of the acid soils, but they don't look good. And so when they go to the market, they don't look good. They send them back. I've had them send back green colored peaches also. So just get a taste and you're sold. Let's see, what else is there in the 2-minute history? Was that 2 minutes? Okay, so once again, welcome if you have questions as we go along. I know that was the brief synopsis.
Chris, don't you guys do a pumpkin patch out here now?
We do pumpkin patch in October, along with apple cider and apple pie and all the fun things with pumpkins. Thank you, Sue. And I've been messing around with truck gardens stuff. I don't have any experience with that, so that's been hit and miss. And now with the cool summer weather we're having, that's also a challenge. So lots of weather-related challenges. The fruit crops, ironically, do very well in the cool weather. They thrive. The apples just love it, this kind of weather. They'd actually like some rain on it. Peaches like hot weather when they're ripening. So in July and August and September, when we have hot weather, it's really, really wonderful for peaches if they have survived the birthing process in the springtime. And that's the big challenge. I've experimented with blueberries. I've failed so far to take good care of them. So they're a little trickier. They have some cultural practices that they're not native to this area. So berries, all cane berries do well here. As you'll see, raspberries and boysenberries. I haven't planted a lot of other blackberries yet, but they all do well in Nevada County, and that's what I'm recommending. Anybody plant as a crop that misses all the spring weather. They grow rapidly. They love snow and wet weather in the springtime when peaches don't. And then they blossom after that. And then in the case of boysenberries, they bloomed in May and they're berrying in June. So they go really fast. They're going to be gone fast too. But so that's a trend. I've planted some strawberries too, just to round out berries. So berries are it. And they're really good. So we're going to hike up the hill. These are apples. These are Granny Smith apples right here. And we can even see a demonstration, because I know part of this is the water history, and I didn't even touch on that.
Well, I hope you enjoyed our show here today from the Food Love Project. You know, Cheryl, I've been here a couple different times, and they were selling some seedlings, some starts earlier in the year, and I came by, and I can't tell you the difference in the whole garden.
It's lush. It's lush and growing so well. And, you know, even though that some of their tomato plants had some frost damage, there's still going to be tomatoes long after we've run out. So they'll be able to continue to provide some fresh vegetables for us for a long time.
And we've met some very interesting people that have helped them create this project and that are coming back now to enjoy the fruits of their labor.
Right.
And it's just another example of the community assets that we have here in agriculture.
And to be able to experience, like we were talking earlier, all different levels of the farming, from getting your hands into it to just shopping at the farmer's market. And you get to learn something new, a different aspect about farming. And you know me, I am not the green thumb person, but it is eye-opening and makes you appreciate the food that you're eating.
Well, it's really inspiring too, and of course, then there's their work with the children in the schools and the camps, and how important that is to not only our society but our whole culture as humans.
Right. We've gotten away from the teaching kids about food and just having it picked up at the market for them and put in front of them. But now that they get to see it, there's a new appreciation for them. And as we've talked about many times, trying to get the young culture excited about farming so that we can cultivate and nurture young farmers. That's what we need, too, to have young people continue that process of local gardening and farming.
And we're seeing that here definitely with this new generation of farmers that we're bringing to you each week. So remember, tune in each week at the Food and Farm Show. We're on NCTV.
Channel 11 and 16 at 6:30 p.m. You can also catch us anytime you want on our YouTube station, or the YouTube channel, the Food and Farm Show on YouTube. You can catch us anytime you want. So in the meantime, we'll see you next week. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Nevada County Farm Supply has been part of the agricultural scene since 1993. Their staff consists of a certified crop advisor, licensed pest control advisor, and irrigation auditor. In Penn Valley, they have a full-service nursery with over 500 varieties of plants and garden enhancements. In Grass Valley, they have a warehouse full of soil amendments, fertilizers, and nutrients. Nevada County Farm Supply, powerful knowledge and innovative solutions.
Briar Patch Co-op and Natural Foods Community Market offers organic produce from over 30 regional farms and buys local organic produce from farms like River Hill, Sweet Roots, First Rain, Pyramid, and Mooney Flat. You can trust the Patch to hold their producers to the highest standards and always be certified organic. So get to the Patch, the Briar Patch, for organic produce.
Anything Green Hydroponics is your source for hydro systems, grow lights, and soils. Anything Green offers a complete range of organic nutrients as well as fungicides, miticides, and predatory bugs. Anything Green Hydroponics has just received this year's soil. Get your totes, pallets, or individual bags. Stay tuned for future workshops. It's all at Anything Green Hydroponics.
It's time to visit the newly remodeled B&C True Value Home and Garden Center. The new B&C has completely changed for your shopping convenience. Their new expanded garden center has everything you need, including expert advice on trees, shrubs, and perennials. Check out their new website and the new spring hours. And thank you for voting B&C the best hardware and building supply in 2012. So start right, start here at B&C True Value Home and Garden Center.